guys, I'm back. Beautiful sunny day out. Love being outside. Hope you guys love being outside. We are an outdoorsy kind of people, aren't we? So I've got something new direct from Kuby. They just sent it to me. Offered me a chance to take a look at it, and I said, yeah. They actually sent me a few different things to look at, but this is just the first one we're taking a look at. So there you go. Kuby fixed blades, I've only seen one so far. You guys know, if you've been around the channel for a while, I really like Kuby as a budget brand. And now they're starting to make some higher end stuff too, by the way. But you know, as a brand in general, they offer you know, pretty good products at a pretty good price overall. And they've got now kind of a selection. They've got some lower cost, you know, decent material type knives that won't break the bank, that you can use and are pretty dependable and well made. And they also have some kind of premium steel, premium material type folders that are a little bit more expensive, but still pretty good, you know, value for the money you're paying. And their fixed blades, the one I looked at previously was actually pretty good. So I'm kind of excited to see what we've got going on here. So now you can see this is like a full-size fixed blade right here. Not, you know, your EDC sized kind of fixed blade. In the package also, we've got your Kuby knife card, cleaning cloth. We'll set that aside. We gotta get into this package. So, all right. Well, we've got, looking at it, you know, outwardly, you can see very nicely machined G10 scales on this thing. Full tang. What a big, thick piece of steel we've got. Kydex sheath, double locking tech lock. That, of course, you can readjust for multiple different types of carry. Looking pretty good so far. D2 steel blade. Look at that. You know, it sort of reminds me of the Burnley design, the CRKT Clever Girl, but sort of like takes it to the next level a little bit. It almost, it's risking looking a little too fantasy for my taste. If it was just a little bit more dragon claw, it would be a little bit too out there for me. But as it is, it's got a nice kind of sort of Persian blade style. Great for slicing, I'm sure. The weight and balance on it's really nice. What do you guys think? That is a nasty looking knife. Like, I would not want to come up against this thing. I imagine, like, in a close-up scene somewhere in Game of Thrones, like a Dothraki screamer pulls this out as, like, the final kill slice, you know what I mean? But it is a beautiful stonewash finish on the blade. Really nicely done. Very comfortable handle. Still not an 80-10. Nothing in the world's an 80-10, but it is a very comfortable handle. Like the pommel design there. You can really get a good grip on that. Nice choil, although I will say that right there. Knives that are designed where the blade just abruptly ends in that point at the choil. Historically, for me, they end up giving me a little poke or a cut there. And maybe that's just me. But it is perfectly positioned there for you to get a good choke up and really get good control of the forward end of that blade. And look at that blade. That is just a big old slicer, huh? I don't know if you'd want to do a lot of chopping. It's kind of a little thin down towards the end. I mean, I don't know if it has the actual weight for a chop, but I mean, it's got the design for it. But man, slicing, carrying this thing around in the woods or a jungle setting and just doing your slicing around. I like it. It's very simple construction. So basically, two bolts holding this thing together. Really relatively, I mean, thick steel all the way through. And your two scales, which again, really nicely machined, contoured. I love when you can see the grain in the G10. I think that's really cool. I can imagine those who are really skilled in knife fighting could make really good use of this too. I'm not, honestly. It's not my thing. Let's see. Let's get it back in. Absolutely no wiggle whatsoever in this sheath, not going anywhere at all, but fits totally snug, no problem getting in and out, perfectly done Kydex, absolutely perfect. The length on this thing is just awesome. For, you know, I can imagine using this in the kitchen a lot too. A great just sort of rolling chop for whatever you're doing. I'll be honest, totally honest, I'm a little on the fence for exactly how I feel about it. It's actually so curved. I mean, is this a collectible piece? Is this a user? I can imagine Doug Marcaida just doing his little moves on Forged in Fire with this. Like, that's, as soon as I look at it, that's what I'm thinking. Is just somebody way more skilled than me doing all sorts of impressive moves and slicing the shit out of all sorts of stuff. I mean, I feel like this has a fighter's spirit in it, which, frankly, it feels like it doesn't even belong in my hand. But, I mean, it's a beautifully, I mean, the design I love. I think it's got style, and I think it's got a lot of practicality in that blade. When you have that nice fine edge, no serrations, but just that nice big curved belly, it's almost like kind of like an ulu shape, but, you know, in a traditional handled knife. I mean, there's so much that you can do with this in terms of utility work, but it also adds in that cool factor of where you can use it, you know, if you are into the fighting styles, using it that way. You can use it as a kind of I don't want to say bushcraft knife, but I mean, it's got that element to it, you know what I mean, where you could just plow through stuff like that. Because you've got that nice swooping curved belly, it's got that cutting power all the way through, is what I'm trying to get at. So utility factor is pretty high on this thing. Great design, and the comfort, it's nice to hold in your hand. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, it's a design that lends itself to different things, different uses, different philosophies. I wasn't sure, you know, exactly how I was going to feel about it when I first saw it. I wasn't sure how I felt about it design-wise, but yeah, you know, the more it's in my hand, and a lot of knives are like that. You gotta handle it. You gotta feel it. That's why I like, a lot of times I recommend, if you have the opportunity to go to a knife shop or any store really, and put your hands on a knife and feel it before you buy. It's always a great plan. But this feels good, and, you know, just even those few little simple cuts through a tall weed, it really helps you get a sense for how this is going to work in a more rigorous situation. Why don't we go do the real actual, you know, edge test that we do, though. Yeah, gorgeous. And always harping on weight and balance. Did you see I could just let it fall, and it just went right through. Let's see. Nice. Look how clean that cut was, too. And yeah, nothing. So the blade, if you get it towards the rear where it's got the heft, well, I guess the front, yeah, too, never mind. It's choppable. It's sliceable. It's very well finished. Gorgeous blade there. It digs right in because of the way it's weighted. I'm trying not to go too far into the wood, and it's just doing it, just going right in. So even though it doesn't look like a design that you would want to do that kind of stuff with, it's got the power, you know, to just get through whatever you want it to do. That's awesome. It is a bit more of a curve than normally I go for, but you have to feel this one and put it through its paces a little bit to really get it. So, ratings, anyone? Originality and departure from previous designs, starting at the top of the list. It actually really does remind me of the Clever Girl a lot. I don't know if that's intentional. I don't know if it's accidental. And I know that that is, you know, there's the Persian blade shape is what it is, but I'm going to go with the 3.5 here. It is a little bit different for Kuby, but I do see a lot of some other designs in it, so I'm going to go with 3.5 there. Fit and finish, though, it jumps right up to a 5 because, I mean, if you look at everything that goes into this knife, everything is perfect. It's just beautifully done, from the way everything's laid together with these scales, to the finish on the blade, and it's just gorgeous. Function and mechanics. So possibly one of the best engineered Kydex sheaths I've seen in a long time. Not only is it perfect, I mean absolutely perfectly shaped for the knife, but you don't even have to struggle with it. I mean, it is just, it holds it perfectly secure, but it's so easy to get out of there when you want it. And just absolutely great. So we're going to give it a 5 there. Practicality and utility, we're going to give it a 4. It is a bit of a big blade for, you know, your EDC type tasks. And there is something to be said for a little bit less of a curve there, you know, when you're doing certain utility tasks, but I think overall it's really, really good. Production and out of the box standards, of course, gets a 5. That blade is finished awesome. I mean, everything here is just superb right out of the box when you get it. Comfort and feel, I'm actually going to have to give it a 3.5, though. Better than average, but there are some potentials for hot spots right up around there. If you're doing some heavy work right along there, you know, I mean, it's a very comfortable knife, but in the long term, if you're doing a lot of heavy work with it, I could see that potentially happening. Cool factor, though, we're going to give it a 4. I mean, it is a very, I gotta say, a badass looking blade. I think it's the kind of thing that people would want to see and like, hey, let me get that in my hand and hold it. Quality materials, I'm giving it my odd rating, I'm giving it a 3.8. I think that if you factor in this knife and its function, D2 is a good way to go. A good high carbon steel is good for something like this. But there are, of course, you know, areas to improve on the steel going up from there. We could, you know, maybe they'll get out of there, fly. Maybe we'll see, you know, a premium version of this with, like, you know, a super steel and carbon fiber scales or something like that in the future. That'd be awesome. But there is room to improve a little bit. So, you know, we'll give it the 3.8, which is still good. It's not bad. It's better than average. Value of ownership and collectability, though, I'm going to have to give it a 3. I'm going to have to give it an average rating because it is, you know, it's a full production knife. It's going to be, and it's nicely priced. You know, it's not going to be like crazy out of reach for people. So it kind of shoots itself in the foot there because Kuby makes things affordable. So I don't think it's got a lot of potential for increase in value or you know, being a really big collector piece or anything like that. I think this is going to be a good user, though. You know, that's not a bad thing, not at all. For overall value to price ratio, though, I'm going to give it a 5, which is, I think, maybe the first time I've given that rating in that particular category. For the price, for the materials, for the design, for the amount of work you're going to get done with this and everything, I think it's really, I mean, I think it's great money spent for what you're getting. I think that this is going to be able to do a lot of tasks for you. I think it's going to be able to handle a lot of work. I think that D2, although a lot of people are, you know, it used to be, D2 used to be considered a really premium steel, and not too long ago. Yeah, I mean, it has kind of flooded the market these days. But once upon a time, D2 was, you know, you paid extra for D2. It was not the kind of steel you could find everywhere. And it has great edge retaining properties. It has great hard use properties. And there's a reason it's a great steel to use on a fixed blade knife that you intend to use rough. I think that the price that you pay for this, considering all the factors and everything, is very good. So I think, yeah, it has a great value to price ratio overall, you know, considering everything. That gives it a total score of 41.8, which means that its overall average score out of 5 is 4.18. So that's pretty good. It's a pretty good score. I like this. You know, I'm on the fence a little bit about the design though. I really do need to do a full-on hard use test with this design though, and see how that very fine edge holds up, that very fine point rather, holds up to some real hard use, because I have doubts, but I mean overall, I feel like you could take this from the kitchen to camping to the field, and again, self-defense. You know, I think this has multiple uses and it's pretty good. What do you guys think? And for the price, throwing in the price, I see this being marketed by some of the, you know, quote unquote fancier brands for twice the price that Kuby charges for this. I do. So what do you guys think of this design? I mean, and let's consider it in different options. What do you guys think of the design overall, just the aesthetics of it? What do you guys think of the performance of the materials? What do you guys think? Now, of course, I've added it to Amazon Influencer. It is under Video Reviewed Knives. It may end up on Favorite Fixed Blades one day. I'm not sure. I really do need to use it more to decide before I throw it on there. But I'm really impressed with the quality of the manufacture of the Kydex sheath, though, and how well it holds, but also how easily you're able to draw it out of that sheath for how well it holds in there too. That's really good. So yeah. So I hope everybody that tuned in to the live stream Q&A had a good time and enjoyed it. I'm sure it was a blast. I'll try to do like a live stream every month, but you know, this most likely is going to end up as a giveaway item sometime in the future, because I have so many fixed blades at this point, and I think this definitely needs to get into the hands of one of you guys, because while in general, compared to the price of a lot of other knives, you know, $50 is relatively affordable. I know there's still a lot of people out there that can't afford that just don't have that in the budget, and so I want to make sure that you know, I'm still giving back to the community that makes this channel successful. So this will be a giveaway item in the future. I'll refurbish it after I test it out and everything, make sure the edge is just as good as it came and everything. Maybe we'll even customize the scales. I don't know. We'll see. But please do share your comments on what you think of this. I love Kuby as a brand. I think that when it comes to the more affordable brands, they're one of the better ones out there. They really are. And I've been saying that just so you know, so you don't think I'm like tipping the scales in their favor. You guys know I've been saying that about Kuby long before they ever sent me anything to look at, you know, and review. For years, I've been saying that about Kuby. They are an awesome brand. You know, it's an awesome brand. You guys are an awesome brand. That was the cheesiest thing ever. But seriously, you guys are all absolutely awesome. I appreciate every single one of you, and I will be back again real soon.